I'm going to give you infinite XP on demand with this modular Minecraft XP farm. This is an XP bank you can grow as your world grows, and it works in Minecraft 1.17 too. Don't you go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to another episode from me, Avomance, in my Minecraft Farms 1.17 update series. This is the series where I update some of my old farms so they work perfectly in Minecraft 1.17, but still do work in the earlier versions. Today we are upgrading my previous XP bank. This XP farm uses no mobs and gives you infinite XP on demand. This works best in Java. If you guys know a way to fiddle this in Bedrock, maybe stick that down in the comments below because it is slightly different. We are going to be testing this farm as well as showing you how to build it to show you what happens when you put infinite amounts of fuel in it, so as it works 100% of the time. And then we're going to be playing around with it using some modular additional farms, cactus and bamboo specifically, and I'm going to show you how much XP you can get out of it if you've got a small farm and also a medium-sized farm attached to it. What's really good about this farm is that you can add to it as your world grows. Maybe you don't need masses at the beginning, but you want to have masses at the end. The farms that add on to this are modular, and as a result, you can just grow it as you need it. I recently updated both the bamboo and the cactus farm. The links to both those farms are in the description below, and I'm going to be using both of those designs to add on to this farm a little bit later on in the program. Now, this farm is 100% efficient with the fuel. It will never waste even one piece of bamboo. So as a result, you're not going to lose anything out of the farm, and it makes it much better, which is a massive improvement on the previous design. Let me show you how to make it. Everything you need to make this XP bank is inside this chest. Now, I am talking about the smelter part of this XP farm. I'm not talking about the two farms that add onto it to give it fuel and things to smelt. They are going to be attached and in the description below for you to be able to make those, because they're not essential for the farm itself. The top two rows show what you need to physically build this farm, so take a screenshot, pause the video, whatever it is works for you. You also need two lots of stackable blocks. That's stackable to 64, one lot of 46 and one lot of 23. I'm using stone. That could be wool, it could be cobblestone, it could be whatever you want. And then you need something for fuel, and you need something to smelt, and it's entirely up to you what you use. I'm going to be putting in a farm for cactus and a farm for bamboo because they can just roll away and keep doing it automatically. This first bit is relatively simple. I have got a 1x10 line, 7 blue, 3 red. Now dig out these blue, so that is a 7x1 trench that is just 1 deep, and then you've got a 3x1 trench at the end that is 3 deep. That's 2 and that is 3. Come out and place yourself, double chest there, a double chest there, and a double chest there. Come out 3x2 and then 2x2 and then 1x2, which means you can access those chests. And get a hopper and shift click hopper into the bottom one, the next one, and the next one, and then run a hopper chain all the way to the end of your row, which should mean you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hoppers and then 2 chests in a straight row. We need to put in a really basic structure, so place 2 blocks, 2 blocks and 2 blocks, and then in front of that, over that first hopper, place another block. Put a block on top of that, come around the side and place 2 blocks so there's an air gap between the chests and those 2 blocks, and then pop a block just in the corner like that. Then get yourself 7 furnaces and shift click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 furnaces onto those hoppers, and then shift click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levers on top of the furnaces, and then pop in on top of the furnaces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 hoppers, and then come around the back and place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now notice that each of the back hoppers are running into the front hoppers, and you're achieving that with shift click, and then pop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks just there, exactly like that, and then come on top of that block there and bring out an L shape like that. You'll notice the L shape is kind of 3x3, and pop another block down there, and we've pretty much got all of the structure bar one more block that we need to place right there and get rid of that. We now need to put in our rails, but you need to do it in a very specific order or it's all going to go horribly wrong, so do follow this. Get a power rail, and on the front here go 1, 2 and 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You should find you are going along all of the hoppers except for that last one. And then get a normal rail, go 1, 2, 3, turn the corner and come back and go all the way along until you are over all of the hoppers but not this stone. And then pop a powered rail there and a powered rail there. What you can then do is just pop a powered rail just coming down off the end of that. That is the bottom end of the row, and then along the top we're going to come along and go 1, 2, 3 and then bring rails using shift click on all of these hoppers like this all the way along to there, and then we're going to get a powered rail, come down 1, 2 and 3. Now that is that section entirely finished. All we need to do is place a lever just there, a lever just there, and a lever underneath just there. They will power all of those rails once you flick them on, 2 and 3. We don't need to worry about powering that rail at the end there because we're going to do that in a different way. We now need to hook up 2 delivery systems, one for the fuel and one for the items we're going to smelt, and it's really important that we set them up exactly correctly. One of the biggest advantages over this design over previous designs is the fact that you will never ever lose any of the bamboo. Previously you used to burn up the bamboo and sometimes it would burn up without completely smelting the cactus. But this time you never lose a single bit of bamboo because you only deliver exactly what you need. Come to the end of your rail row where your chests are, and at the end of this powered row here stick a single rail, not a powered rail, a single rail, and then dig here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 2 deep. Exactly like that. Place a redstone block there, get a powered rail there which then connects and turns that corner, another powered rail there, another one there, another one there, and then place a detector rail there at the end. We then take out 1 block, 2 blocks and 1 block. At the top of this block here, place temporarily a rail. You can see the detector rail snaps up. You can then remove that rail. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come out from this block here. So not the end one, this block we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again 1, 2, 3 and 4. Get a hopper next to that detector rail and place it facing down into the ground. Then get a comparator coming out of that hopper there and another comparator coming out the back of this block. And then on this block here, place a redstone torch facing upwards and join the 2 comparators with a little bit of redstone dust. That's actually the hardest part of this farm done. We now need just to put something that holds the minecart there until we're ready to release it when it has got enough items inside it. You may recognise this system from Zoomovoid. He managed to come up with an idea that holds the minecart for a very specific amount of time until it has got a very specific number of items in it, and it works perfectly for this design of farm. Place a temporary block above the detector rail and then put a hopper into that block. You can see the tallies facing the block. Get a block on top of the redstone torch, another block on top of the temporary block, and then build a row of 3 across so as it hits that back block. You can then take out both of those temporary blocks. Get a sticky piston, face it downwards on that block, getting down into this hole here. That's why you've made this hole. Then get a block on top of that and then jump up onto that hopper and get yourself out. You can then connect this all up with a bit of redstone, 1, 2 and 3. And when I put redstone on top of this block, that piston will fire and block off that hole. You can see exactly like that. Then get some of the dirt that you've dug out. You can place dirt there and there and there. Don't place dirt on either of these 2 and there. It just makes it a little bit safer for you to walk around whilst you're doing your build. We're going to use this 2 comparator system to work out how many blocks are inside the hopper minecart so we can release it at exactly the same time. Not too early so we waste bamboo, but not too late so we maximise the efficiency of the farm. Now, a quick whistle stop of how this works if you're interested. If you're not, just fast forward this bit. This detector rail can tell how many items are inside the hopper minecart that is sat on top of it. And the more items there are, the stronger the signal it's going to give off. And it will push that signal into that block. And this comparator here will be able to detect the strength of that signal. Now, we want that hopper minecart to leave at exactly the right time, i.e. we want it to move when there are enough bamboos in it to be able to fuel everything, but not so many that it's inefficient and it takes longer for it to collect all the items before leaving. We want the maximum XP in the shortest amount of time. So if we put a certain number of items into this hopper, that comparator there will detect the number of items in that hopper. It then pushes the signal out through one dot of redstone, which means the signal going into the side of that comparator is one less than the signal coming out of the comparator. Now what that means is that when that comparator detects that the amount of items inside the hopper is equal to the amount of items inside that hopper plus one, it will flash on. It will come on, so that torch will turn off. When that torch turns off, this will then turn off, which will stop this piston being fired, which will raise that block, which will allow the hopper to roll off of that detector rail onto those powered rails and off to dispense its goodness. And then when it comes back, it'll have fewer items inside of it, so the thing will power, and as a result, it'll all be locked in again until it's got enough items. It sounds quite complicated, but really, it's just a bit of redstone counting. And the magic number of items put into this hopper is 46. Why 46? Because if it was fewer than 46, the hopper minecart would leave the station with too few bamboo in it, and it wouldn't give all of the furnaces enough to be able to smelt up the items it needs. If it was more, it could potentially mean that it's putting too much bamboo in, which would mean it still works. It just takes longer to leave the station, and as a result, it takes longer to get the XP, which will reduce the hourly rate of XP. Now those 46 blocks are in, we can cover up that hopper so nothing else falls into it to cause problems, and that is that side of the station completely finished. We need to build a very, very similar model on the other side. We dig our 5 long, 1 wide, 2 deep trench right at the bottom of this row here and place your redstone block there. Pop your rail there, 2, 3, 4, and we continue on in exactly the same way as we did with that. You can see it is exactly the same with the detector rail there and the hopper next to it and the comparators and the redstone torch, except it is mirror imaged. The hopper with the comparator is on the outside, the same as it was on the outside of that side. Inside here, the magic number is 23. The reason it's 23 on this one is because we don't need as many cactus to go into the top row as we do need bamboo to go into the bottom row. So to make it the most efficient, 23 is the perfect number. I'm just going to place this last bit of redstone. That fires that one off, and then we can place the dirt back over here to keep everything safe. That is these sections done. Now, we've got some choices. Do you want this farm to be fully automatic, or do you want this farm to be a manual feed? And by manual feed, I don't mean you sit there and just feed stuff in, but you lob a boatload of stuff into it through loads of chests. It's entirely up to you, and I'll show you both choices. If all you want to do is feed this stuff in manually, perhaps you've got bamboo and cactus farms elsewhere in your world and you don't want to have to build another one. That's completely fine. You can ship your stuff across here manually and just lob it in some chests. Come to the inside of your station and take out that block and shift click into that hopper. Inside is the opposite side to that which you've got the hopper that's counting. Put a chest there, and then place another chest on top of a hopper that feeds into the first chest there and there. Fill this up with as much cactus as you can possibly get, and that will be what squirts into the top of those furnaces for smelting. Similarly, on the other side, come to the inside of that and place a chest like that. Now with the bamboo, I would highly recommend that you don't just put 2 lots of chests on. Put another chest there and place at least a 3rd chest there and there, like that. And again, fill that with as much bamboo as you possibly can. This stuff will burn through bamboo when it is at its most efficient. Each one of these furnaces will burn through 1,440 bamboo and 360 cactus per hour. Now across 7 furnaces, that means that you are going to use up 10,080 bamboo and 2,520 cactus in 1 hour. That's the equivalent of 168 3/4 stacks of bamboo or 39.5 stacks of cactus, which means that you're going to need all 3 of those chests plus some of the hopper spots all filled up to be able to do this for just a single hour. It is a beast when you roll it properly. And that means you are going to get a boatload of XP every single hour. And I'm going to show you exactly how to right now. We're going to test this out for just 1 hour. I've placed inside all of these hoppers here a full stack. There is a full double chest there, a full double chest there, and a full double chest minus 13.25 stacks, which is exactly 10,080 bamboo, which is 1 hour at maximum capacity. I've filled that up with cactus because really the fuel is a limiting factor, so that's got a load of cactus in it as well. And now what we need to do is actually get this thing rolling. This is dead simple. I'm just going to place a hopper minecart on there. I'm going to come across here and place a hopper minecart on there, and eventually these things will start to move when they have got enough fuel and smeltable items in. Now you don't need to use cactus. I'm just using cactus because it's got the best XP value. You can see the cactuses are going to be starting to roll through there. You've got a couple of cactus in there already, and in comes the fuel, and that fuel is just going to keep on burning. In comes more cactus, and that is going to roll for exactly 1 hour. You can see they go out, but that's okay because it has smelted exactly 1 cactus. And why that's all right is because it takes 4 bamboo to smelt a single cactus. And round the back here, if I come round, you can see that we've got a double pass on each of these hoppers. So it runs over that once, that drops 1 bamboo in, then across there 2 bamboo, then back 3 bamboo, and then back across 4 bamboo. And what that means is it's going to deliver exactly the right amount of bamboo to deliver 1 cactus to be smelted. There is not any waste. It is absolutely 100% bamboo efficient. Now, obviously, if you're doing this manually, you absolutely don't have to use bamboo. You could use kelp blocks, you could use coal, you could use charcoal. It's completely up to you, and therefore you'd need fewer chests to be able to power this for an hour. But I'm going to be using bamboo for this test, simply because bamboo is the only thing that you can farm directly into a smelter. You can't use kelp because you've got to turn it into blocks manually. You can't use coal because you can't farm coal. So I'm going to be doing a fair test by comparing an hour of bamboo this way and an hour of bamboo in some other ways in just a moment. So let's see what happens after this fella has been running for an hour. That's actually been 1 hour and 8 minutes because there was a little burn gap between each set of 4 bamboo, so it took just a little bit longer to get through it. But 1 hour and 8 minutes of activity. Let's see what XP we get out of these 7 furnaces. So what I need to do is I need to flick all of these levers on. That locks the furnace, so anything that gets burnt, for example this cactus, will stay in here and allow us to pick it up, because that's how you get the XP out. And I'm just going to put 4 bamboo into each one. Obviously, if you've got continuous burning, you won't need to do that. Just flick the switches and the next smelted item will be held. Then all we need to do is come in and pick out this item here. You can see my XP is at exactly 0. I've removed every scrap of it. If I take 1 out, just a single furnace, we get 16.10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16.14 and a half XP just from 1 furnace from 1 hour. A second furnace puts us up to 23.6. Third, 27 3/4. Fourth, 31 and about a third. 34 1/4. 36 2/3. And then the last one is very nearly 39, just short of 39 XP levels. So you can see from 100% efficiency with no gaps whatsoever, you are going to get 38 3/4 levels of XP from 0 every time you use this 7 furnace array. Obviously, if you used fewer furnaces, you're going to get less, but that's entirely up to you. You can make this a 3 furnace array or a 5 furnace array. Don't do more than 7, it goes horribly wrong. Now that's all well and good if you've got an infinite amount of fuel and smeltable items available and it can just run and run and run. But what if your farms don't produce that? Remember, you've got 10,080 pieces of bamboo required to run this for just an hour and 2,520 cactus. So if you've got maybe a smaller farm, how much are you going to get if you've not got a continuous supply like that? This is something we need to find out. So let's do it. So the first test is to do it with two relatively small farms. We've got a 2-tier cactus farm and a 2-tier bamboo farm. We're going to see how much XP we can pull out of this after 1 hour using just the feed from these 2-tier farms. Again, how to make these farms, the links are in the description below if you want to come and link these up. You can link them up however you want, using hoppers, using water channels, or using maybe another minecart with hopper, entirely up to you. I'm going to reset these furnaces to exactly 0 XP, and then we're going to see how much XP we get out of it with this 2-tier farm compared with the infinitely fueled farm we had before. And then we're going to test it out with much bigger farms. Now, I have run that for exactly 1 hour. I have locked those furnaces, so we've got something to pick out of the furnace, and as a result, we can see how much XP we're going to get from this 7 furnace array. I've got 0 XP, let's give it a test. Now, with these small farms, my suspicion is that there is not going to be loads and loads, and if I liken this here as well, you can see we've got less than 4 stacks, so it's not like we're going to have a bazillion, but let's see what we don't get. If I go 1, that's given us 3 levels, another one, 5, another one, 9, 10, 12, 13. It's actually taken us to over 14 levels of XP with just little farms and also only 7 arrays of furnace. So that's actually not too bad, better than I expected. And given that there was fuel inside those furnaces, that tells me that it's the cactus that is the limiting factor and not the bamboo, which is interesting. So maybe you want to think about making the cacti farm slightly higher than the bamboo farm, because the bamboo farm is going to produce more per level than the cactus farm will. So now let's imagine that you are longer in your game, your world is more developed, and you have got much bigger farms and a much bigger need for experience points. Let's see what you can get then. I've increased the farm size to 6 high cactus and 6 high bamboo, so that is triple the size of the last farm. It's still only considered a medium-sized farm, believe it or not. Look at the size of it, it's absolutely massive. But 6 high is medium-sized. This is going to give us a pretty reasonable amount of XP. I emptied out the XP from the furnaces, I emptied out the minecart with hoppers, and we are ready to roll. 1 hour, let's go. So that has been exactly 1 hour, and we can see whether or not this 6 high farm has made any real difference. So what I need to do is just throw those switches, and I need to get a little bit of cactus into each one, just one, so as there is something to physically take out of the farm. Right, I noticed that we've got full bamboo pretty much in each of those furnaces, but makes me think that we don't need as much bamboo as we do cactus. So perhaps you could go 1 less on the old bamboo farm than you do on the cactus farm, and that would be perfectly fine. We've managed to get ourselves, well, it's 10, 11, 12, 13 and a half stacks in an hour, so that isn't too shabby. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take out this one all the way across. So I've got exactly 0 XP. Let's take that and that. So 2 has got me to 12, 3 to 16, 4 to 19, 5 to 21, it's nearly 23, and we've got to 24 and a half levels. Let's just throw those back again so as things can be accepted back into the furnaces, because that's locking all of those hoppers. 24 and a half levels after just 1 hour from these 6 high farms. It looks to me like the cactus is the limiting factor. So if you want to get yourself even more XP, make the cactus farm taller. You probably don't have to make the bamboo farm any taller, so play around with that. And with the new height limits that are available in the new snapshot, that means that these could be extremely tall, and you could pretty much match the infinite supply that we played around with right at the beginning. So there you have a 100% fuel efficient XP bank that doesn't have a mob in sight and still gives you absolutely boatloads of XP, even in as little as 1 hour. If you imagine you go for 2 hours or 3 hours on an AFK session, that is going to give you 30, 40 levels of XP without any problems. Make that cactus higher, you're going to get even more. And it's completely modular, and you can grow it as your world grows. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd be really interested to know how high you built up your towers to be able to fuel your farm. If you have enjoyed that video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you enjoyed them, and I will keep on making. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.